afternoon, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us for what, Sean?
For
The
no
no.
BS. No BS. That's right. It is time because it has been a week. It has
Man,
been a week. I mean, it's been a crazy week. So you have to have an opportunity. There's no better time now to come and talk and just be no BS, have no filter, and just be real with everything that went on in this past week. Everybody, you got to have an outlet, and this is your outlet. We're here to be able to just kind of get real with some of these current headlines because it's a lot to take in here. It's been a lot.
overwhelming. I mean, all the social media alerts firing off, watching everybody's post, and then like at this point, like, what do I say? What do I not say? What can I say? And then like, what world is this that we live in right now? Like, we're living something. It seems like that we watch on television. I mean, we had. Let's not forget so much going on, but it was the 24th anniversary of the September
9/11.
11th attacks, right? And that got kind of swept behind everything going on with Charlie Kirk. Prayers to his family, his precious daughters, and his
Yeah.
wife. I can only imagine so much going on. And we're going to dig into all of that. But first, there's a lot of news that happened here locally in
Mhm.
Nashville, but also across the state. So we want to give you that quick wrap of all the topics that were going on. First of all, we've got Rutherford County, the sheriff's office signing the 287G agreement. And with that, that then gives deputies some ICE um, authorities, right? So under this 287G agreement, local law enforcement officers can assume some of the same powers as ICE agents. They're able to um, issue warrants to those even while they're in jail. They can access jail records of folks. Just a lot that's going on. The fact that they have some of the same powers as ICE, we're seemingly stepping slowly into that now. Rutherford County is one falls into one of hundreds across the country that are signing this 287G agreement. Then let's move on over to Memphis. No troops just yet. Hopefully, maybe not ever. I don't know. We'll see. But Governor Lee launching Operation Viper. It's a federal program where a combination between state troopers, with the state, local law enforcement, and some federal officials. 50 state troopers have been sent to Memphis for crime suppression. They said they've already arrested hundreds of violent offenders. That's the solution. Hats off to Governor Lee saying, hold on, let's try this at home first before we go outside. So we'll see how all of that comes about. And then coming out this week, and what a week, we do have some Republican state lawmakers who are pushing for a gun sales tax holiday weekend next year, similar to what we've seen, Sean, and everybody watching with our back to school
Mhm.
holiday
Yeah.
tax free weekend, right? So we're going to be keeping our eye on this, keeping a watch out on it, Sean.
I
A
mean,
lot of
especially when
moving
it comes
parts.
to the Governor Lee and this Viper program in Memphis. What's going to be interesting to see how this rolls out, and what I want to see is I want to see what results he gets over the next 30, 60, 90 days. What are the results he gets? Because the first question I'm going to have is, so you created a whole plan using THP, and you go into Memphis and you're wrapping up and locking up all these criminals, but you've been governor for how long? Memphis has had crime issues for how long? And so now that the president wants to come into cities, now all of a sudden we create a program. So I'm hoping that it's effective. I really, really do hope
Of
that it's
course,
effective.
crime
Um,
reduction is always a good thing.
and because it will be, then it leads back to what I just said. Why now? Why did you wait now? And you've been governor for so long, and that city's always had issues. Are you only functioning under the direction of the president? Or are you actually functioning as a governor that should be running your state?
Mm.
So
We definitely need to unpack that in a future show, especially as this effort continues on. But one thing that we've got to get at, it has been highly charged across the country this week as we are coming off of the shooting death, the murder of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, who we know gunned down in Utah during an event. And, one cannot deny it is highly charged at this moment. Sean, let's unpack this. We've got a really cool guy who I've come to know, Adam Altendorf. I hope I got it right. From Organized Tennessee. It is a nonpartisan group that really looks to educate folks, develop, build awareness around politics, policy, all of that good stuff. Adam, thanks so much for joining us. Listen, we are in the age of, clearly, of cancel culture, what now seems to be kill culture, right? Because not too long ago, we saw Democratic elected officials who were murdered in their homes. We now see Charlie Kirk, who was murdered. Um, again, we don't know fully. It's not been declared yet. Well, at least not that I've caught, the exact motivation behind the shooting, but obviously there's a lot of assumption. And then we're seeing people losing their jobs, getting suspended for talking about his death. Right now, how, if we had a thermometer, okay, for the political temperature right now, what temperature is it going to read on that thermostat? How hot or cold are we?
Feels like, honestly, for folks here in Nashville, it feels like Covenant, or it feels like Jan 6, or it feels like when the students at Vandy were getting, arrested for protesting. Like, there is this vitriol, there is like a blame game that's happening, and people are mourning, people are angry, like people are angry about people mourning. Like, it's like this whole like vitriol of like people are now mad about the narrative and what people are saying about the people that are saying things. And it just is like, feels like it's spiraling and getting really sideways from what happened when we actually don't really know that much, you know? And I think when there's moments like this, there's not a lot of information. And that means people just start to jump in and write their own meetings into events that are really chaotic.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that I find interesting, you pointed it out, like you were like, people are mourning, and then people are upset with the people mourning because of how they're mourning and being told. I mean, it's just like, where does it end? And what can you say, what can you not say? Sean, we were looking at and talking about how there's a staff member at the emergency communications office in Nashville, a firefighter, both placed on leave, MTSU assistant dean, who
Mhm.
was fired for their comments, about, now, their First Amendment right, but then again, it gets a little muddy. I want to play this soundbite that was during the press conference, during Friday's press conference, about when they announced the arrest of the suspect in the Charlie Kirk murder. I want to get your thoughts on it. Listen to this.
This is certainly about the tragic death, political assassination of Charlie Kirk. But it is also much bigger than an attack on an individual. It is an attack on all of us. It is an attack on the American experiment. It is an attack on our ideals. This cuts to the very foundation of who we are, of who we have been, and who we could be in better times.
Adam, your take on that? How on point is he?
I mean, I think he's pretty on point. I think like in moments like this, like people have conflicting feelings, right? They have conflicting feelings about, the murder. They have a lot of conflicting feelings about Charlie Cook himself, and what he has said publicly. And so I think the governor did a good job of, one, acknowledging that, there is like really raw feelings about this for folks who were fans of him and folks who weren't. But he also gave folks meaning to rise above that. And I think like when moments like this happen, we look to our leaders to set the tone, right? And to rise above that. And I think, again, when there's moments like this, it can spiral and go sideways very quickly. And you need to look to leaders who have a clear moral compass about what's good for the public and who have the status to be able to guide that. And so I think like Governor Cox did do a pretty good job of calling for that while also acknowledging how messy this is for the public right now.
And the crazy thing about this is that we're getting the governor and making these comments, which again I agree is showing that our political climate shouldn't be this way. But our president doesn't really have the same objective, and so how does how does a party exist that way? How does a party exist when you have the governor of a state dealing with this is saying one thing and the president saying another? How does a party really exist and function as a unit when the head of the party says it's because of this person we're blaming it's the liberals is the reason why, and you have other Republicans literally saying the blood is on your hands based off of what? We don't know anything about this kid. We just know he's 22 years old. He was in college. We don't know anything about this kid. He got into politics over the past couple of years, but no one said what his political stances are. We know what he wrote on some bullet casings, and he didn't like Charlie Cook. We understood that, but to say that to say what? We truly don't know anything about this kid. So we're already putting the blame game. How's that really effective, and how does that unite a party?
Can we unite?
Right.
Well, I think like the unity like appeal can feel like really hollow for some people when they're still like either in the mourning or in the grieving stage. So it's like it feels really shallow to say like we need to come together when like I'm so angry about what happened, and the unity message has a way of like smoothing over and kind of bearing grievances, right? So I think what we need to do is like allow our emotions to like hold space. Like we can't dismiss it because it's better for us to come together. Like, no, we need to find spaces, and our leaders need to like cultivate that, or organizers or like faith leaders need to cultivate those spaces so that we can mourn in safety, or like we can be angry about what happened in safety, right? In like a very respectful way. But like sometimes unity doesn't feel that great, right? And on the flip side of it, like we have the blame game, like Sean said, like it's just like nobody knows anything about this guy, or allegedly this guy did it, but we don't know anything about him. Like yesterday they had already arrested 2 people, that they dismissed. So it's like we as a people, like we as like a public want to find meaning in this, but like we can't move ahead of our own grief, because I think bearing it leads us to like a more destructive place where like anger festers, and the next crisis that happens ends up being like way more vitriolic.
It just feels like, can we come back? Once upon a time, and it just seems like such a far off thought notion now. Once upon a time, there were, 2 parties that could really just go in, disagree, but still come out with a policy, still come out with the vote, and they didn't have to hire extra security or look over their shoulder, even in their own homes. And one thing that we've seen develop since, since Wednesday, well, really more so around Thursday, I think is when I first saw it, is that now there are more calls for calm, more calls to step back. And it was so moving that Dr. King's daughter, Bernice King, was on social and gave her heart to Charlie Kirk's daughter, saying, my God, they're going to have to grow up like I did, watching their father's murder and living that. But also said, but we have to be honest. We've got to come back to the center. Adam, do you foresee a path forward? And if so, how do we get on that path where we can, I know you said mention safe space, but right now this is even impacting governance. We have lawmakers who are going on hiatus, who are hiding out in another state, right? Is there a path forward, and how do we get on that path? Who is it going to take to get us on that path? Or do you think Charlie Kirk's murder is
I
going
hope
to be that?
so. I mean, like what happens when there's like attacks of gun violence? Like there's these calls to lawmakers to do something, and there's a moment in which that political will is generated, right? But then we go back to our camps. We have more of a political incentive for divisive rhetoric than we do to come together, right? And so like organizers and the public have to create the political will for elected officials to act, right? And so what that means is that like we have to be willing to have uncomfortable conversations with people that disagree with us, and also we have to be okay with being wrong, right? And I think nobody wants to be wrong right now. Nobody wants to make
and they want their way.
Yeah.
So.
And it's like, if I speak in public, all of you do too. Sometimes I say foolish things, right? But I think what people actually want is like authenticity and honesty. They don't want fake elected officials, and they want something that's real, And I think that like people don't want to say the wrong thing, but we have to get to a point where you are free to be honest about your crazy thoughts, but you need someone to check you, right? You need someone to be able to call you out, and there's like less consequences, right? And I think that's where we have gotten sideways as like a country, whereas like you say one wrong thing and like your business deals get cut, right?
Like you're done.
Right.
Done. You're canceled.
And we were talking about that earlier, like a professor at MTSU or a staffer said something that was, maybe they believed it, maybe they were commenting, but like now they've lost their livelihood, And so like, if we really want to have free speech, then people shouldn't be getting fired for expressing beliefs that have nothing to do with their job,
Yeah.
And like, but that's where we are. And I don't know who is muscling people behind the scenes to say, you need to go fire that guy. But like, that's not really that hopeful, and it also prevents people from saying what's on their mind. And that's the problem. Like
that's the problem. That is the problem. And it shouldn't be. Everybody should be able to express themselves. That's what the First Amendment's about. I mean, that shouldn't be an issue, and you shouldn't have to feel like you may not go home that night because you expressed your views. No matter how much I dislike your views, you have the right to say it. Just like I have the right to say my views, and it shouldn't come down to whether or not you may not make it home. Because from my understanding, I think Charlie Kirk was wearing a vest. I believe he's wearing a bulletproof vest under that T-shirt. From some pictures that I've seen, I haven't confirmed that, but I did like he was wearing a bulletproof vest. So he knew the threats that were there and they were out there, and he was still out there exercising his First Amendment rights. And I commend him for that. But it's a shame that this is the result of that, and it will just continue just to stifle people to not want to say how they really feel.
And yeah, and
safely do so.
Right.
Well, as like groups and organizers like bring people together, like physical security really was not a concern like 10 years ago when I was doing this work, and like now there's like specialized volunteer teams that are like on guard, basically looking for people who are infiltrators or like counter protesters that may be physically dangerous. And unfortunately, like we have to, as organizers, we're responsible for the people that we've invited into our space or invited into our event. It would be irresponsible for us not to prepare for that. And that is a whole nother layer of work that groups have to do to just convene people together. Unfortunately, that's the case. But again, 10 years ago, it wouldn't have been on my mind. But now it's like, that's a real concern.
Yeah. Well, I will say, I have full faith and hope that we can return to a space where we can safely disagree. Because I ain't gonna lie, I love me a good argument. I love me a good debate. I am very opinionated, but we have these rights. We etch them in stone. We've got the Hancock, we've got all the founding fathers signing all these things for a reason, because we came from a space where we could not do these things. And we fought, there was a battle for us to have these rights. So hopefully we can return to a space where we can say what we want, how we feel responsibly, right? Express our opinions responsibly without worrying about not waking up the next day or a tragedy resulting. Adam, a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Be good, be safe.
Thank you, Adam.
Happy.
Thank you both.
Thank you. Wow. Well, I just hope that there is a way forward from here. But the question I've got, what is the way forward for Madam Vice President Kamala Harris, whose book is out, whose excerpts and truth are out. She pulled back the covers, the
She did.
sheets, the feather down, everything. She spilled all the tea. Look at this, everybody. From her book, 107 Days, she said, quote, referring to the Biden administration, that they were adding fuel to negative narratives that sprang up about me. And when the stories were unfair and accurate, the president's inner circle seemed in line with it. This is one that gets me. When polls indicated I was getting more popular, the people around him, again referring to President Biden, didn't like the contrast that was emerging. Sean, are you shocked at all to hear any of Sister Kamala's truths coming out?
No, I'm not. I'm not, because I was concerned in the very beginning of the administration, because I didn't feel like that we were seeing her enough. I felt like that she was really pushed to the background, and I think that they started to change that quickly. They really started to shift that really quickly, but in the very beginning of his administration, I didn't really feel like you saw a lot of her, and it was like you got to the second half of it, and you started to see more and see her traveling more, meeting with world leaders. You just started to see her more interaction, and of course, that's going to spark the debate and the question of her leadership and the effectiveness of it, and is she ready to lead? And she's proven this time and time again in every position that she's ever held. And so she definitely can lead. I do think that the youth, the vitality, really standing next to him, really, it played well in her favor, but I see how it hurt him. I do. I see how it hurt him. There's situations where especially from the debate with Donald Trump, he's just seemed kind of lethargic and just in and out. And you notice just his gait and everything has just changed. He's an older man. And you've got this young woman that's strong, she's educated, she's passionate, and she's a part of a sorority, and there's so many things about her that just says strength and power and vigor, and it was going to play out that way.
What I'm curious about, like, first of all, like, I am so here for her. Now she of course she couldn't say all this when it was all going on. Now she can say it. She also mentions in her book that she didn't believe that it should have been a decision of his and his wife's wife, Dr. Biden, to make the decision for him to run for re-election. Felt that it should have been more of a collective, more of a party decision, not their decision to pass that memo on and that be, rule and law. But my worry for her is like, okay, we get it. Now you're free to say all of this, but I wonder and I worry about the backlash that that could befall her. Because, it's giving a little bit. Well, first of all, on one hand, it's giving, we already knew it, sis. You didn't have to tell us. We knew what it was. But it's also giving a little bit like, now you're playing victim. Now you're saying something, right? It kind of feels that way. But and I'm not saying that that's how I feel. I'm saying it's giving that. I wonder what the fallout's going to be, though, because let's be honest, she's not done running for office. She's going to hop back in there. I hope she runs again. I would love to see President Harris. I would love to see Governor Harris. I would love to see her in whatever capacity that she goes for. And if I can vote for you, I said it right here, I am. Because first of all, she's my sorrow, so I sticks with her. But I also believe in her policies and her character and integrity. But what is the impact? I'm waiting to see what is the impact of her future political endeavors. What is the impact then of other women running for office, of other Black women running for office? Do you think this maybe is going to shed light on things and maybe free them more now that we get a better idea of how women and Black women are treated in office? Because let's be honest, she was gunning for that seat and they told her to have a seat and take what you can get. You'll get your turn soon.
Right. And I think she's smart in what she's doing now, because I think that she's setting herself up for the opportunity to run again. I would love for her to run in this next election. I mean, to me, and I know the campaign wouldn't do this, but to me, every campaign slogan, every sign should be, "I told you so."
Oh, because I would love that.
I would love that. It's like, because I told you so, because You literally can go back and find clips, and she has literally told us exactly what this man was going to do, and she's not been wrong. So
Like,
she,
just call her Kamala Damas, because she
yes,
predicted all of it. Like,
she predicted every bit of it.
line by line. Yes.
So it's like, but it's almost like I told you so. But here's how we can fix it. Because we would not be in this mess. I don't believe we would not be in the mess that we're in had she taken that office. And I do believe that she's setting herself up now with this book and this book tour. She's getting out on her own terms to have conversations with people across the country to really, really understand what they need, what they're feeling, especially in such a really a very harsh, negative political environment inside of our country. So she's stepping out really in the most opportune time to get the real true feelings of people and hear what they had to say. And I know that she's going to meet people. I know she'll meet people that will say, I should have voted for you.
Yeah.
I know she's going to meet people that are going to say that. And where that's an ego boosting kind of statement, and it is, I think that she has an opportunity here to really, really get back out in front of people and really get the understanding of what they need. And I think that she could turn around a campaign and launch it with the full campaign window. And I do believe that she could win if she had the full campaign window, the full election cycle.
And full support.
And full support.
From the beginning, because I think her campaign, how she entered into it, and even what she reveals in her book, reveals what and exposes what we've been saying for the longest. The Democratic Party is not organized. They are not on the same page. There is no ready to roll roster of candidates to come out the cannon, to fire the cannon the next time. Where's the messaging? Where's the strategy? Where's the plan? If the two top seats in the Democratic Party and in the country are not on the same page, and there's now let's be clear, she thinks highly of him.
Absolutely.
We've heard him, he thinks highly of her. They love each other dearly, but we're talking business and politics. They were not together.
There were
some strife there.
They
and
were
that
not.
is telling.
I mean, President Biden was more of an ego thing for him. Because he kept saying, I'm the only one that can beat Trump. I'm the only one that can beat Trump. It was more of an ego thing. I didn't necessarily believe that, because you're basing that off of what? Just because you did it one time, and that's great, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be able to do it again. You're much older, and since then, we've looked and we've seen and recognized that you're not the same president that was running the first time either. You're not that same vice president that were under Barack Obama. It's clearly shown. So what made you believe that you were going to be able to get out there and run him? And then how are we going to feel comfortable knowing that you were going to be able to complete another term? Let's just be honest about that. You're in your 80s. And then the cancer scare, like now after you're out of office, now you announce that you have cancer. So the question now, Loom, how long have you had that? How long did you know about that? But you wanted to run for office and then put us in a situation where she was going to be running the country anyway. So,
so much is coming out. And you know what I think we should do about this, Sean? What? I think we should invite, Auntie Kamala on the show. Fingers crossed, we're going to send up to the Lord. Maybe she'll come, she's going to be in town soon.
I've put my request in. I already told you I put the request in to try to get it onto the show. So fingers crossed that we get Kamala Harris, because we would love to hear from her. I would love to have her come in here and just say no bullshit. That's what I need.
Yes.
That's what I need Kamala Harris.
Get her to say that?
Yes, I need her to say that. I need her to call no BS on something. We gotta have her.
Well, listen, with her book, she's calling BS. And speaking of BS, we're gonna keep our fingers crossed she'll come on and call BS. But Sean, it's time for us to call BS. Can I go first?
You can go first.
Thank you. First of all, I want to point out that I logged in on time for the show.
Oh, here we go. So here we go.
Calling BS.
Here we go.
I'm ready. Run my time for me. I'm ready. I am calling BS on the gym, because there was a study that came out that reveals that gym equipment has 362 times more bacteria than toilet seats. That is effing disgusting. And I'm calling BS because little gym rats like you always try and shame folks like me, okay, who just want to pray the weight away instead of work it out. No one has time. So I'm going to sit here, suffer, hope, and pray while you go to your little nasty gym and work out and share spit, snot, and all kind of little nasty stuff with all the thousands of people who work out. And for the record, going to the gym, yeah, okay, it's good for your health, but is it really? Like, I may go work out and my cholesterol drops, but I'm gonna catch like every virus and yuck nastiness that exists in the whole country. Okay? That's gross. And I'm calling BS on gyms, gym rats, and nastiness.
Okay. Okay. That's fine. Call it BS. I call it BS. Because really, that was gonna be my BS to you because Harriet. So go ahead when we get the clock pulled up, because I'm gonna take the exact amount of time to say what I need to say.
That's
I'm
hilarious.
calling BS on the same thing because you send me these posts talking about the nastiness and the germs of the gym. And I said, you know what, Harriet she wanted to give me another excuse why she's not going to the gym. But she falls into the same category as so many other people that I meet where I want to lose weight, I want to do this, I want to do that, but then don't want to go to the gym and do the things that you need to do to put into it. I will say this: faith without work is dead. So I'll just leave it right there for that. Understand this. Yes, anywhere public that you go, you're going to run into germ situations. Anywhere public that you go, the public bathroom, the cubicles in your office, anywhere, you're going to run into those situations. That's why they offer sanitation, paper towels and spray, and you wipe that stuff down. Don't use that as an excuse reason why you're not in the gym, and at the same time talk about I want to do this, I want to do that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. It don't work. Faith without work is dead.
The last time I went to the gym, I ended up my kettlebell swing, heard a pop, felt a rip down my leg, and 2 back surgeries later, physical therapy. No, that's what happened to me the last
You
time.
were doing that kettlebell swing wrong.
So you're blaming me for the injury?
No, I'm not blaming you. Most injuries in the gym come from improper form. It's not so much about the weight. Most injuries come from improper form. So I'm going to go off a pretty educated assumption that maybe your form was not quite where it needed to be. Maybe the weight was too heavy. Maybe you were swinging it too hard. But most injuries come from improper form. So you just needed to make sure that you had the right person to show you the right form, the right technique to be able to do that. But that happened a while back. You had back surgeries, and praise God, you are on the other side of healing and recovering. Am I not correct? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You are. And you still have the same goal that you had when you went into that gym, do you not? Yes, you do.
You know what? F you, Sean. And do.
No.
Whatever. You know what?
Stopping you. There's nothing stopping you. Just go do it.
All I gotta say is you are now informed of how disgusting the gym is. It's on you. All I can do, I can lead a horse to water, baby, but I can't make them drink.
No, you can't. You can't.
Well, listen, I'm glad we're laughing. It's been heavy.
It's bad.
Well, I love the entire show. It's time for another really cool part of the show, so we can lighten things up.
It's now time for our favorite segment. We have to lighten the mood because we get so heavy around here. And so we get to this segment, we can kind of loosen up a little bit. And I'm a little nervous. I ain't gonna lie. Because, we got our boy Deric Sleezy Evans, but then we got somebody else that she's going to add to this. I'm a little nervous, but she's funny as hell, and she knows what she's talking about. It's Khristal Witta Eye. What's up, guys?
Khristal Witta Eye.
Sleezy. What the hell you doing with a fan? No, I stole it from Asian.
No. Open it up. It's probably got your face on it. Everybody getting that.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, can't nobody steal it.
I love having Sleezy on, but Khristal is a special treat today. I can't even lie. Oh, I went to church early. I'm lying. I prayed to the Lord, and He answered my prayer on this beautiful Sunday.
Harriet, don't do too
Khristal,
much. You
what-
got me over here blushing black, girl.
Not blushing black.
Yeah, you got me over here blushing black.
I love it. Sean, we got a new cultural correspondent.
We
Khristal,
do.
Witta
We do.
Eye.
The team is growing, so we got a new cultural correspondent keeping us up to date about what's happening in the culture. And today's will be a little different because we're gonna give you some things. We want to see how you feel about some things that are going on right now. So, Harriet, are you good with that? We'll do a little different this time.
I'm good with that because we hit these topics hard and heavy a few minutes ago, and we
That's what she said.
gotta lighten it up. Behave, Sleezy.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Already.
Come on, Sean. Get the students in order.
Okay.
Where we going first? You gotta get them.
Here's the deal.
He
So
is dressed like a principal. Don't do that. He's looking like a principal right now.
You're gonna get expelled. So check this out. And really, I gotta go with my boy Sleezy on this one because the governor has been all about all the Trump trying to take over cities, right? And since Memphis is number one on most violent crime in the country, governor's talking about having conversations with the federal government about sending them into Memphis. What do you think about that?
I clean it up. It's like, you know what I'm saying?
So you want the National Guard to come into Memphis?
Yeah, man. I think people may think, I look at it like, man, sometimes you got to get you a new school president sometimes, to get stuff going in the right direction, Tennessee State. Or, you know what I'm saying, a new coach at MTSU to get the football team on the right track. Y'all got a new coach. Sometimes you just got to go down there with your belt and swing. Remember when all your cousins and stuff would be yelling and hooting and hollering, and grandma, auntie, or somebody just coming in and just swing the belt, and whoever she hit, sit down. That's what they need to do to Memphis. Just come in and swing the belt. Hit everybody.
I'm surprised you say that, Sleezy, because you from there. However, when I heard they was going to Memphis, I was like, is they really wrong? Because y'all stayed on First 48 more than
they robbed my mama at the ATM.
That's my show.
Memphis robbed my mama at the ATM though.
Listen,
you remember that? I was still at the radio. Yes, they robbed my mama. Remember it was all over the news.
Oh, I didn't mean to laugh, but so remember those fools?
It's $40. They took $40 from my mama at the ATM.
Yeah, they need to go down there for real. If they robbing mamas for $40,
elderly lady, 70-year-old lady, robbed
she
my
probably
mama.
would have gave it to him for a little something. It's a going rate, $40.
So what I'm hearing is that Sleezy, Memphis homegrown, says, yeah, send in the National Guard, which we have to point out has not been decided yet, but Governor Lee has activated Operation Viper, a federal program where he's sent in 50 state troopers. Okay, they're coordinating with state and the state and then local law enforcement to clean up. He's like, hold on, before you send the troops, let's try this first. Sleezy, Khristal. Now let's be real. We talking about Memphis. Okay, you got to put a balance back with that.
I think they got to lock them up, man. There's a lot of roads out here that need paved. That we need some grass cut. There's a lot of stuff we can get done. We can send them over here to help out with Ukraine. Since you like to shoot guns, go over here and help the Ukrainians. Go over there.
Well, see, this is my thing with that because these days in 2025, you got YNs that don't care. So they go down there and they done lost some soldiers down there. If they go down there playing in the road, they done lost some soldiers down there. Don't send them folks out, please.
Man. I just think it's a beautiful city, man. You got to say it in Glorilla voice. It's a beautiful city.
A beautiful city.
It's a very beautiful city, but right now don't nobody want to go to they don't want to go to Grizzly games. They don't want to go to the Memphis in May anymore. Memphis in May used to be popping.
I never been, but
you go down there and get you some barbecue. You can go to get you some barbecue, get you some good live outdoor concerts. It's the home of blues and barbecue. Now it's guns and wings.
Okay, so let's move on because this is going down a real dangerous path. Right. And then we gotta hand over the Kamala Harris book situation to you all. Now, our VP. Wait a minute, please. a minute. Our VP has unburdened her soul, and now that she's free, she's letting it all out in her book. And from her account, the Biden administration was not too supportive of her. Are you, Chris? Let me ask you: are you surprised?
I'm not surprised because I was thinking the whole time she was a house ninja anyway. You know, that's how they was treating her. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was what they could put out in the public. She was a nice looking black woman, you know. So I just feel like they knew what they was doing. They was in there treating her like a ninja. I don't want to say the other word because, you know, power to the people or
Right.
whatever.
I ain't
But
gonna
you
lie, I
know,
would have knocked Kamala down
I
though.
had been feeling like that they was treating her like a ninja in there, but she had to keep her cool because she was still running for president. But
I think
I ain't
we as
surprised at
men,
all. I'm not
I don't
surprised.
think we as men, we didn't treat Kamala like the women treated Barack. Oh, Barack, we were supposed to be like, man, she fine. I'd knock it down. Because first of all, remember one of the accusations about Kamala was she was a a Jezebel all the way to the top. That's
Right.
the speculation. But not my speculation. I've met a lot of Jezebels. They probably get like a little raise at work, or you might get a car out the deal. But I ain't never known nobody that gave their coup de cat up and became the vice president
Vice President,
of the
right?
free world.
But let
That's
me
why I
just point
voted
out,
for her.
though. Let me point out, everybody always got to say that about a woman who rises to the top. That woman is highly credentialed,
Yeah,
Yeah.
highly educated. Why
yeah.
does she have to work her way to the top like that, Sleazy?
I don't know because I don't know. That's a good question because maybe
I'm just
10
saying.
women, 10 women in history have done it and ruined it for all of y'all. Just like y'all think all black men cheat. So the 10 women that messed their
I mean, we do think that. We do.
the, the,
As a
the
collective, let's
two
be
dudes,
honest.
the
As a
two
I
black
mean, I'm
men that
sorry.
cheated in
Go
history,
ahead.
y'all blame it on all of us.
But I bet you one thing though, everybody in the world, it has at least crossed their mind once. Damn, I should have voted for her. Damn, I should have
Ooh.
Oh,
voted for that.
I
absolutely.
voted for her because she was fine.
That's it.
Sleazy.
Not because of her policies, not because what she can do for the country.
I don't care about none of that, Sean. Just think about she could have went over there and showed a little thigh to Putin, missiles gone. Went over there with a little cleavage, war
Right.
done.
See, she
Jesus.
didn't have much though, Sleazy, but you're right. Go ahead. I'm with you.
It,
You're right. Go ahead.
it don't take much for a man like me. I don't care. She could have just showed a little bit like, okay, I'm going to stop.
I
I'm going
feel
to put
like
my
somehow
nukes up now.
I feel like
Flash
your
nukes
mic is somehow
exploded.
about to be muted. Like I
Right.
Be on
It's
that
the
corpus.
fan voice for me all of a sudden that you just flipped over into.
that man is wild. Hey, Sleazy, they got the
I,
right ones today.
I love Kamala.
Yeah,
It's
I
in the
do too.
name, Kamala.
She
well,
should have
I'm
been
a
president.
I'm a stand with every single woman, period, because of her education and her talent. Okay. I stand with her, stand by her, and I wish her all the best in her endeavors,
Uh,
separately from how she would have stopped wars and bombs, Mr. Sleazy.
okay,
Even
Okay.
listen, you
even
Harris, you
Candace
gonna have to
Owens,
talk to us
you'll
like
stick
that.
with
We ain't
Candace
calling
Owens.
later no whore. We just said that's what they said.
Yeah, that's what they said.
She done snapped.
I couldn't hear you, Sleazy. Crystal
I
was
said
talking. I
I'm
couldn't
you
hear
sorry.
what you
even
were saying
stand by
about
Candace
Candace.
Owens. You stand by
I
Candace
couldn't
Owens too.
I feel like somebody else is talking. I can't quite make out what you're saying about Candace Owens.
So,
Um,
you said you stand by all black women. I just asked about just a question.
Is she black today? Is Candace black today?
Right.
I
Say
I,
that,
mean,
Sean.
I didn't know when she was black. I
She
didn't
be
know.
acting real light skin. Really, really, really light skin.
this
Like
whole
light
segment has gone
skin.
off the
let me
rails.
tell you something. Candace Owens can get it too, though. I knocked the Republican out of her.
Listen, most men do a tree with a good soft hole inside of it.
Yeah,
So
So
she,
I'm sure you
wait,
will.
what's happening?
man,
What's
Candace
happening?
Owens will she'll be a
Men
leftist when
don't
I get
care.
through with her. She'll be like, I
Hold
should have
on.
voted for
Okay, let's switch
Kamala.
gears.
Okay,
Let's
I'm
switch
sorry.
gears.
Okay.
Let's
I'm
switch
sorry.
Okay,
gears.
okay, we back. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Sleazy.
last one that we're gonna tell y'all good night because again, this is the Lord's day and we need to release y'all to him. The last thing, y'all's take on Tennessee Republicans who are pushing next year for a gun sales tax weekend. holiday, which would be like how we have back to school tax-free weekend, doing something like that. Now, as we said earlier, the Dems are saying we do the sales tax weekend for back to school because, clothing, things like that, that's hard to come by and afford for a lot of families. So it makes sense. But guns, there's no affordability issue. Would you, if you were Representative Sleezy and Senator Khristal, how would you vote on a gun sales tax weekend?
I don't know how I will vote, but I know how I will have a commercial for. Come on down here and get you one of these guns. 2 for 1 special down here right now at Dick's Sporting Goods. We got 2 guns, 357, AK-47, 9 millimeters, all half off, no tax. That's how my commercial would be if I could.
I can't with this dude. What? I can't with this dude.
Sean, in our post
I can't tell you how I vote,
in our
but I know
editorial meeting, we gonna have to
but
revisit.
listen, I think
Right.
just to be real, and I'm just gonna say I don't know, but I just feel like everything that's going on that make it easier for us to die is all a part of population control.
Yeah.
I just think it's all, but as far as
Steve.
putting guns, having guns for sale, oh baby, the YNs is finna show out. They is finna start. They're gonna have a gun in every pocket, even that fifth one on the side that they used to keep cocaine in back in the day.
It's a CON conspiracy, Sean. It's a conspiracy. Khristal might be on to something.
I'm telling y'all, this is population control because they already feel like blacks is killing each other anyway.
Hey, you better be quiet for
you see what's
Khristal.
going on the other side, so it's all population control.
You might know too much because she talking like she know too much now. The government be listening now.
Oh, you right.
All right now.
All I saw was
I
and only you can prevent forest fires. That's all I saw when he did that. That's all I saw.
I just
what happened?
I just had a visit from one of the Lord's archangels, and he said to end this segment because he needs to visit with you all. So on this blessed Sunday, we're gonna thank you for this has been.
Come on down here to Walmart. We got bullets half off all weekend. Get you some. Okay.
For extra $5, we'll even put your name on the side. Come on down.
These are serious topics, but we have to find.
Okay, we done.
We have to find space somewhere in this universe to be light and to laugh and just breathe. It was a heavy week last week, so I want to thank y'all, Sean. We got to thank them for real for just bringing some humor and lightness to the show and to everybody's universe this week. Sleezy and Khristal, Witta Eye. Always
thank you guys so much.
Thank y'all. I love y'all. Bye, y'all.
Boom, chakalaka.
Love you. Gotta come back, Khristal. See y'all later.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness. Woo! Jeez, I need a break. Lord have mercy.
It lightened the mood. It did lighten the mood.
We had to lighten the mood. But anyway, I'm glad we were able to hit on some really, really good heavy topics and end on a light note. But we're going to continue these topics and we want everybody to engage. Sean, get on your pulpit. You know what I'm saying? Take your minute. Tell them where and how they can find us and watch our show.
Oh, of course, you can go to our YouTube page. We have a YouTube page right now. No BS Podcast with Harriet and Sean. At Instagram, No BS Podcast 25. Facebook, No BS Podcast 25. And on X, formerly known as Twitter, No BS Podcast 25. So definitely go follow, subscribe, check out our full episodes we put up from the past. Look at some of our video content. Leave us messages and let us know if there's certain topics that you want us to discuss. We'll be glad. We'll take those. Listen, I'll respond back for sure. Harriet myself will respond back and we will talk to you. We want to know what you're thinking for the culture and what really topics that are important to you that you want us to discuss. We can do that. So go follow us on all those platforms and get involved. This is how you can get engaged with our show and how we get engaged in the community.
And one more for the universe. We are live on the internet.
Yes, we are. We are.
We are. We want you all to come hang out with us. You can also reach us, contact us. If you don't want to reach us on social, we've got a contact page. Send us your information, your event coming up, the topic you want to discuss, or just drop us a note, say hello, learn more about us and the show. You can find us at No BS Podcast Nashville.com. We want to see you. We want to hang out with you. We want to just engage with you. But Sean, it's been a beautiful Sunday. I've
It
had a
has.
great Sunday. Always a pleasure hanging out with you.
Always, every single day. But and thank you guys for watching and tuning in and commenting and being a part of this. We appreciate it every time. We're so excited about what we put together, and we've got so many things in store for this podcast. So many things. This is just the absolute beginning. So come along with the ride, because we're going to have a great time. We're going to be real. We're going to be raw. It's unscripted. It's absolutely no BS, but that's what it's about. Bringing to you the real conversation.
No BS. All fun. Everyone have a great Sunday, Sean. Till next time. See y'all later, everybody.